Kumusta mga kababayan? Panoorin po natin ito. Tingnan natin kung gaano kainit ang pagsalubong ng ating mga kababayan dito nga po kay Pangulong Marcos. Na tila ay parang wala silang napansin na dumating. Panoorin po natin mga kababayan. Parang ano eh, parang may dumating lang na ano eh, nakakapit bahay eh. Grabe no? Malayong malayo kapag si dating Pangulong Duterte o kaya itong si Vice President Sara Duterte yung dumarating. Yung tinig ng pagtanggap ng mga tao, malayong malayo dito kaya ay ibigan.
It is incumbent upon the respondent to present her evidence. So, if the respondent is not interested to present her evidence, I don't think that there will be proper party to do that presentation in behalf of the Vice President.
Maraming mga lumalabas na statements na tila ba'y may conclusion na may pagkakasala o may mga impeachable offenses na nakumit ang ating Vice Presidente. Tandaan lang po natin that the burden of proof lies with the complainant. Sila po ang nag-complain, sila po ang naghain ng mga reklamo, so dapat sila ang may ebidensya. At kasi parati lang sinasabi, hindi sumasagot ang Vice Presidente. Well, hindi sumasagot ang Vice Presidente kasi wala namang dapat sagutin sa ngayon.
At sa bahagi naman po ng video na ito mga kababayan, ay panoorin po natin ang naging press conference ni Congressman Luistro at saka ni Congressman Ridon. Kaugnay pa rin po ito ng impeachment case laban nga po dito kay Vice President Sara Duterte, mga kababayan. At panoorin din natin ang naging sagot naman ng abogado nitong si Vice President Sara Duterte. Eto, umpisa na po natin. Pero bago yan, kung bago ka pa lang dito sa ating channel, ay mag-subscribe ka na at i-click mo na din ang notification bell para maging updated ka sa mga susunod pa nating video.
Kapansin-pansin po yung wala nga pong nag-object, wala rin si Kong Bong Suntay doon sa proceeding kanina. Nagulat po ba kayo hindi rin po nag-object itong si Kong Paulo Marcoleta?
Hindi siya makaka-object kasi hindi siya member. At tingin ko he has to review the rules first before making commentaries to the committee.
Kung bago po tayo mag-down, kasi you mentioned before yung motion po ni Kong Shell Jokno regarding po doon sa kanyang mga pinapasabina and hiling po doon sa paglipat ng custody kay Ramil Madriaga. Hindi po natin siya natalakay ngayon. Kailan po kaya natin siya?
We opted to address the request for issuance of subpoena and the petition for protective custody. We were corrected by Congressman Shell Jokno. It is not specifically a petition for transfer of custody. It is a petition for protective custody. And transfer of custody can be one of the measures to address protective custody. That's what he said. No? We opted to defer the deliberation on this request and petition because this should be part of the hearing proper. No? And for the purpose of our hearing on March 25, the respondent necessarily has to be notified because she should be given the opportunity to participate in the hearing already as part of her right to due process. Etong determination of sufficiency in ground, this is really a deliberation between and among the members only. And we are basing our consideration on the complaint and the answer and the evidence which are already available. No? But for the purpose of hearing proper, due process must be observed, and therefore, notice must be given as well to the parties, the complainant, the witnesses, and the respondent. No? And that is the reason why we defer to deliberate on the request for issuance of subpoena of documents as well as the petition for protective custody filed by Congressman Shell Jokno.
Ano pa po yung mga abangan natin come March 25?
Well, marami pong mga i-dispose na motions po doon. So yung pong bagay kay Congressman Jokno, yung custody po ni Mr. Madriaga, yung pong mga motions to subpoena all the relevant documents will be raised there. Yung pong objections to the entry of appearance doon sa dalawa pong mga abogado ni Vice President Sara Duterte, yung pong subpoena ng SALNs, bank records, tax documents, corporate records po ng mag-asawang Duterte Carpio at ng pong mga kumpanya na nakalista po sa 2024 SALN will probably be raised, no, in that proceeding.
May
In addition, they are requesting likewise for the documents of the Committee on Good Government. That is with respect to our inquiry in the 19th Congress. No? They are requesting also for the COA documents. That is apart from the SALN, ITR, and bank records mentioned by the Honorable Ridon.
Ma'am, yung pag-goal, can you walk us through lang po yung sa mangyayari sa March 25, yung first complaint po muna tatalakayin, paano po yung mangyayari, will there be, cross-examination, yung pagpepresenta na po ng ebidensya, can you just walk us through po yung mangyayari?
Yeah, so this will be a mini trial, should I say, no? Because the full-blown trial will happen in the Senate. What is important is to give ample opportunity to the complainant to present their witness and evidence per ground, no? Per ground. We've been discussing this with the members kasi if you will notice, the grounds in the third and fourth impeachment complaint are almost similar. So we are seeing the possibility that while the presentation of evidence must be done per complaint, there is a possibility of adoption of witnesses, adoption of evidence, adoption of direct and cross-examination by the time we deliberate on the fourth impeachment complaint. But definitely, notwithstanding the fact that the answer of the respondent is not actually responsive to the allegations, she will still be given ample opportunity to present her evidence after the complainant. And in addition also, the rule is very clear that only the justice members are allowed to conduct direct examination and cross-examination, no? Which means that while the parties may avail themselves of the services of lawyers, no? The participation of lawyers with respect to the proceeding before the Justice Committee is limited only to assisting their clients.
Paano po yun, kunyari, di ba we'll be inviting the respondent, VP Sara, pag hindi pa siya pumunta, sino po yung pwede magsalita in behalf?
Ang tanong ko, how can the lawyer assist if the client is not present?
So it's mandatory for her to appear before the House Justice Committee because how can the lawyer assist her if the respondent is not present?
As I have been explaining, this is her prerogative. Her presence during the hearing proper and even her presentation of evidence is actually part of her right to due process. As to whether he will avail of the same, it depends on her. That is an option that belongs to the respondent. But as to your question, what will happen to the lawyer if the respondent is not around? According to the rules, only the justice members are allowed to conduct direct examination and cross-examination. So I wish to raise the same question. How will the lawyer participate or how will the lawyer assist? Actually, they're not allowed to participate. That's why kanina, when Attorney Ligutan confirmed the manifestation of waiver of reply, I placed it on record that his participation is in his capacity as an attorney in fact, representative, and not in his capacity as a lawyer. No? Because in as far as lawyers are concerned, the rule is clear. Only justice members are allowed to conduct direct and cross. And the participation of lawyers are limited only to assisting clients. Who are the clients? The complainant, the witness, and the respondent. So kung wala yung parties, kung wala yung client, how will the lawyers assist?
The House Justice Committee can still conduct a mini trial even without the respondent.
It is incumbent upon the respondent to present her evidence. So if the respondent is not interested to present her evidence, I don't think that there will be proper party to do that presentation in behalf of the Vice President.
Yung isa po sa mga counsel ng complainant sa third impeachment complaint, particularly Attorney Ligutan, he believes po and he is anticipating na questionin po itong proceedings before the Supreme Court. And even one of your members, si Congressman Tino po, naniniwala rin na ganun. Do you share the same sentiment and how does the House Justice Committee prepare for it?
That is a possibility actually, because as what the member said, the contents of the answer of the respondent are not actually responsive to the allegations of the offense and the ground. Instead, it alleges violation of due process and failure to state ultimate facts. And these are matters which should not be addressed to the Justice Committee. This should be addressed to the Supreme Court via a petition. So, yes, I see that possibility.
How does the Justice Panel prepare for it?
We will simply proceed. Kung walang TRO, kung walang temporary restraining order, at kung wala namang adverse declaration pa, ang Supreme Court on the legality or constitutionality of our proceeding, this is a constitutional duty. So, we have to continue hearing the impeachment complaint.
Hello po. Dito po. Sa kabila.
Yan.
Baka po pwedeng maliwanagan what will happen if the Vice President won't attend itong mini trial na. Ano yung mangyayari? Magpapatuloy pa rin po ba yung proceedings?
If she doesn't attend. Una, nakalagay po sa rules no na meron pong karapatan mag-present ng ebidensya ang respondent. So, the Vice President in each and every ground will be allowed to present her evidence against the evidence that will be presented by the complainants. So, ibang bagay pa ho if she will not opt to provide this particular option, will not use this particular option for her to present the evidence. So, kung hindi niya gamitin yun, tuloy pa rin ho yung pong proceedings on a per ground basis.
Pero sino po yung magpe-present ng evidence for the respondent if she won't attend the hearings?
Well, my understanding is it should be the respondent that should present the evidence and should elicit yung presentation po ng evidence po niya. So, we will discuss with the committee kung ano pa ho yung mga pwedeng mga gawin relating to the presentation of evidence, not just of the Vice President, but of the respondent, but also of the complainants. Pero my understanding is, ang kailangan po talaga magpresenta ron, yung pong respondent. Kasi ang magpipresenta for the other side would be the complainants themselves.
And based on the Vice President's initial reply, how does the panel expect the proceedings to, ano yung mangyayari sa committee once the hearings happen, given how the Vice President responded to the charges, to the allegations against her?
Well, hindi naman ho natin pinapangunahan yung Pangulong Pangulo no, on how they will conduct themselves in the course of the proceedings. No? So, ang gagawin po ng komite, there will be a portion in the presentation of evidence that is reserved for the respondent, for the Vice President, for them to present their evidence. So, that will be secured in each and every stage of the proceeding, whether or not she will avail of it.
Kong Eden Santos po from Net25. Kasi po kanina sinasabi niyo lahat dun sa hearing na hindi sumagot ang Vice Presidente. Well, in fact, yung kanyang isinumite ay consolidated verified answer ad cautelam. paano po nasabi na hindi siya sumagot? Well, in fact, doon malinaw na answer. At ang sabi po sa number 1, hindi po naiiba doon sa 2025 articles of impeachment yung i-file po ngayong 20th Congress. So sinagot niya yung final na mga reklamo. Ang sabi lang niya ay hindi siya naiiba doon sa mga naunang 19 Congress. So recycled. Yun po ang sagot niya.
Actually, the reason why the justice member said that this is similar to the answer to the first impeachment complaint is because the answer to the first and the answer to the second both did not respond to the allegations of offenses and grounds. Instead, they raised this issue of unconstitutionality, violation of due process. That is why, si Joel ba yun? One of the justice members said that this is similar to the answer that was filed to the first impeachment complaint. You know, there is an existing rule which says that you examine the pleading and you assess it not on the basis of the title, but on the basis of the allegations in the body. No? And the observation of the justice members, bagaman ang kanyang titulo ay consolidated answer, if you read the allegations, considering that they are not responsive to the offenses and the grounds, it is more of a motion to dismiss rather than an answer to the complaint. You judge the pleading not on the basis of the title. You judge it on the basis of the allegations in the body.
Pero po yung naglalaman din po yung kanyang sagot nung ilang grounds na hindi nga lang talaga yung
That's correct.
grounds.
That's correct. They
point
were
for point.
cited by Kong Rufus. As a matter of fact, in response to the allegations of misuse of confidential fund, they merely cited that there's a pending petition for review with the COA. But sinabi din ni Kong Rufus, no details. And that is why Kong Rufus said, I am in favor of proceeding to the declaration of sufficiency in ground.
Good afternoon po, Haji Kaaminyo sa Brigada News FM. So if the Vice President decides not to attend at all the impeachment proceedings to present her evidence or yung mga testigo po nila at magpasaklolo po kung sakasakali sa Supreme Court, hindi po ba parang panibagong issue na naman po yon ng judicial overreach kung sakali?
We cannot actually stop them from going to the Supreme Court, no? At any stage of our proceeding in the Justice Committee, they have always the prerogative of going to the Supreme Court to question the legality of our proceeding, no? But that is her prerogative. And the only option we have is to continue on this impeachment proceeding for as long as there is no TRO yet and for as long as there is no adverse declaration yet of the highest tribunal.
At ano po yung pwedeng implication or indication po nun kung sakaling sa Supreme Court nga po ulit yung magiging laban?
Well, makikita ho natin yung pagka nagpunta sila sa Korte Suprema na. Pero handa naman ho yung komite. Naharapin po yung lahat ng aspeto na pwede hong banggitin no, ng pangalawang Pangulo dahil I think as far as we're concerned from the beginning up until today and moving forward, yung po nga binabanggit niya na wala daw pong due process, hindi ho yung totoo. Diba? I think that has been reiterated ever since the answer has already been given no, since Monday. No? So, and pangalawa, hindi din ho totoo na walang ultimate facts na binabanggit. Merong re-reading nga ho kanina ng mga facts na papatunayan in the course of the proceeding. So, we will wait. If there will be a resort to the Supreme Court, then that will happen. Pero katulad ng binanggit po niya, Chair Jinky, for as long as there is no temporary restraining order on the proceedings, the Justice Committee will fulfill its mandate to prosecute this up until the very end.
Good afternoon po. Yung sa answer lang po ni Vice President, meron siyang at least 3 lang yung nakita ko na parang kahit pa although remotely nag-address dun sa allegations. Sinasabi po niya wala naman daw pong kontrata. There's no contract dun sa threat to kill the President and First Lady and former Speaker Romualdez. Tapos yun nga, under appeal yung COA Notice of Disallowance and that Madriaga is lying at sinampahan nga niya ng perjury complaint sa Taguig. I understand sa Taguig Court po iyon. Itong tatlo pong sinabi ko, yung mga sinabi ni Vice President, hindi po ba ito answer dun sa allegations na nakalagay po sa complaint?
Well, it can be considered an answer, pero it could have been the opportunity of the respondent if she ventilated all her arguments via that consolidated answer, no? As you have said, very limited yung naging allegations niya in response to the allegations in the complaint, no? Sayang ito because this is considered also in the determination of sufficiency in ground. Now, considering that the answer has very limited responses to the offenses, and most of the discussions pertain really to the violation of due process and failure to state ultimate facts. For me, it's like the opportunity to convince the justice members not to declare sufficiency in ground was lost. No? Kasi in the determination of sufficiency in ground, the answer should be the basis. If the answer was substantial enough to reduce the substance of the impeachment complaint. But the thing is, the responses to the allegations of offenses were very limited. And perhaps you've seen it during our deliberation, most of the Kongs were simply reiterating the same argument that they articulated already during the sufficiency in substance. That is because there is no enough allegations in the answer to comment on.
Thank you po. Sir, baka si Kong Terry, baka meron din. Hindi po ba answer yung mga yan? Yung at least yung tatlo na wala naman daw kontrata, under appeal yung disallowance, at sinungaling naman daw si Madriaga.
Well, I think more than considering it as an answer, parang ang tawag dun sa mga ganun, parang sabi-sabi. Di ba? Kasi basically, the defense is incomplete. Halimbawa, dun sa wala daw hong contract to kill. No? Hindi naman ho pinag-uusapan kung may kontrata o wala eh. Ang pinag-uusapan ho dito, yung speech itself. The speech itself, ano ho yung laman nun? Hindi ba? Merong threat against the President, the First Lady, and the former House Speaker. Hindi ho usapin yung contract to kill. And more importantly, wala hong kontrata, I think. Anong hinahanap ng depensa? May written document na merong kontrata para magpatay ng tao? Hindi ko wala naman gumagawa nun eh. So what kind of answer is that actually? Di ba? And yun na nga, ang pinag-usapan dun, the speech itself, the threat against the President, the First Lady, and the former House Speaker. Yun po yung pinag-uusapan na ginawa ng pangalawang Pangulo. Hindi po yung kontrata. And hindi lang naman yun eh. Yung pangalawa, yung kagustuhan niya na pugutan ng ulo ang Pangulo. Hindi ba? It is another threat which is not conditional. No? So, dalawang magkaibang insidente po ito ng pagbabanta. Yung sa usapin po nung Madriaga, the perjury case will proceed as it should. No? So, kung meron hong hindi katotohanan doon, and then they will have to face it at that particular proceeding. Pero the Madriaga affidavit will stand and the credibility of Mr. Madriaga will be tested in the course of hearing proper. No? So, mapag-uusapan po talaga yan pong bagay na. And finally, doon po sa, hindi pa daw ho pinal, yung pong mga notices of disallowances, katulad ng binanggit na ho natin in the past, hindi naman ho kailangang pagbanggain eh. Yung proseso sa COA, it is an audit proceeding. If there's a notice of disallowance, there is an order to return the money. It is distinct from and separate from an impeachment proceeding in which all the evidence in that particular AOM and notice of disallowance will still be used in this impeachment proceeding At magkaiba ho yung consequence. Dito, pagsusoli ng pera sa COA, dito po sa impeachment proceeding, pagtatanggal po ng impeachable officer. So, ibig sabihin, hindi ho pwedeng pagbanggain ng kanya pong kampo na just because hindi pa final yung pong COA proceeding, hindi ho pwedeng gamitin sa isang impeachment proceeding. Hindi po ho yung tama. At magtutuloy ito pong ground na ito as we go into hearing process.
Thank you, sir. Yan lang po sa akin. Thank you.
Panoorin naman natin dito mga kababayan yung naging sagot nitong kampo ni Vice President Sara. Ito po.
Posibleng dumulog sa Korte Suprema ang kampo ni Vice President Sara Duterte kaugnay ng impeachment hearing laban sa kanya. Ngunit wala pang pinal na desisyon sa ngayon ayon sa defense team. Si Jason Rubrico sa report.
Inihayag ng defense team ni Vice President Sara Duterte na ikinukonsidera nila ang paglapit sa Korte Suprema kaugnay ng impeachment proceedings sa Kamara. Ngunit ayon kay Attorney Michael Poa, spokesperson ng grupo, wala pang pinal na desisyon tungkol dito.
Ngayon po, pagdating naman sa issue kung may idudulong tayo sa Supreme Court, hindi pa po, of course that's always a possibility, pero wala pa po ako masasabing definite sa ngayon. Siguro malalaman na lang natin kung makapag-desisyon talaga kami na merong talagang malaking bagay na dapat idulong sa Supreme Court, gagawin po natin.
Kaugnay naman ang planong subpina ng House Committee on Justice, iginit ni Poa na handa silang suriin ang legalidad nito. Matatanda ang sinabi ni Congressman Terry Ridon na posibleng ipasubpina ang income tax returns at business records ni VP Sara, pati na ng asawa nitong si Attorney Manasseh Carpio.
Doon naman po sa mga sinasabing mag-issue ng subpoena, yan naman po ay may powers under the rules ng House, no? May powers mag-issue ng subpoena. Pero kung naayon man o hindi sa batas yung subpoena, yan po ang titingnan naming mga abogado ng ating ikalawang Pangulo. Titingnan natin kung tama ba yung laman ng subpoena, titingnan natin kung naayon sa batas, at titingnan natin kung wala namang karapatan ng ikalawang Pangulo, ang kumbaga in English ay nai-infringe, no, dahil dito sa mga subpoena na to. But
Sinabi rin ni Poa na nananatili ang kanilang tiwala sa proseso ng Kamara sa kabila ng mga ulat ng pagkiling ng ilang panig. Aniya, hahayaan nilang magpasya ang mga mambabatas batay sa ebidensya at kanilang konsensya.
Unang-una sa lahat, bilang abogado at Mar, I would like to trust the process pa rin. No? So, sa ngayon, despite statements being said that might seem bias or meron ng partiality, para sa akin, we need to trust the process and we need to give our lawmakers at lahat ng miyembro ng Committee on Justice and even plenary the benefit of the doubt, no? That they will be voting based on evidence, based on conscience. No? So sa atin, ayoko pong mag-cast ng any aspersions, no, laban sa ating mga lawmakers.
Dagdag pa ni Poa, handa ang kampo kung sakaling umabot ang usapin sa impeachment trial sa Senado. Iginit niya na nasa mga complainant ang obligasyon na maglatag ng matibay na ebidensya at hindi sapat ang puro alegasyon lamang.
Kasi maraming mga lumalabas na statements na tila ba'y may conclusion na may pagkakasala o may mga impeachable offenses na nakumit ang ating Vice Presidente. Tandaan lang po natin, no, that the burden of proof lies with the complainant. Sila po ang nag-complain, sila po ang naghain ng mga reklamo, so dapat sila ang may ebidensya. At kasi parati lang sinasabi, hindi sumasagot ang Vice Presidente. Well, hindi sumasagot ang Vice Presidente kasi wala namang dapat sagutin sa ngayon.
Para sa kampo ng Vice Presidente, hindi katotohanan ang maligasyon kung wala itong basehan at ebidensya. Para sa Diyos at sa Pilipinas kung mahal.
At yun na nga mga kababayan, hanggang dito na lang po ang video ito. Kung ano man po inyong opinion sa video ito ay comment nyo lang po sa baba at ating pag-uusapan. Huwag maging kabahagi po tayong lahat tungo sa pagsulong at pag-unlad ng ating pinakamamahal sa bansang Pilipinas. Ingat po kayo palagi. Maraming salamat.